needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
You know, as an avid Trump supporter, of course, I'm America first. But to be America first, you must also be America only. As a MAGA Trump supporter, we must speak out. We cannot allow Donald Trump, our president, to completely reverse our stances on America first by replacing Volodymyr Zelensky with Benjamin Netanyahu, basically goading us into new foreign wars to fight on their behalf. We had a huge problem in the Ukraine. Every goddamn week, Volodymyr Zelensky was trying to find new ways to tell the American public that our men and women are going to eventually have to die in the Ukraine fighting the Russians, just like his people. What is Netanyahu doing? Telling us that in one way or another, we are going to have to directly engage with Iran. He's telling us the reason he's attacking Iran is because, oh, they want to take out Trump. No, they don't. They want to take out you. You want to take out Trump. You are our greatest enemy. You're not an ally. But that doesn't even matter. I pray that Trump does not take us into a war versus Iran. That is not our war. When I say America first, I mean America only. That means if we're facing an invasion from a foreign adversary that's trying to cross our oceans or our northern or especially our southern border, that's when our American military is activated. These campaigns to protect an imaginary ally, I say imaginary because nobody can ever tell me what the benefits of Israel, what benefits we gain from Israel for them being our ally. I know what they get from us, which is money and military support, equipment, but I don't know what we get from them. I have no clue. But for us to now be being considered to go into a direct war, for one thing, fighting Iran makes just as much sense as fighting Russia. We do not want to fight BRICS. Remember, it's Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, South Africa. Those make up the initial BRICS nations. We have been trying to avoid a direct conflict with BRICS. It goes from fighting the Russians. Now they're trying to find a way to get us. It's like they're just trying to find ways to keep our military industrial complex active. Nothing to do with protecting our borders and our sovereignty. If the Iranians and then Israel attacks Iran first, they have a right to defend themselves as well. Self-defense does not only work one way. So let them fight it out. We're letting the Russians fight it out with the Ukrainians. Well, then you let the Iranians fight it out with the Israelis. It's nothing to do with the United States. We do not need to be drugged into a BRICS war. Trump wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. I want to see him make a deal with these countries, a deal that protects us, not that protects Israel, not that protects the Ukraine, not that protects anyone else. America first, America only. We have our own laws. We have law and order that has to be restored here in the United States, saying that Americans can go to jail, but not the immigrants. That means the laws are not being equally applied to everyone in the United States. But there also are laws of international engagement. Israel illegally attacked Iran. But we're not Team America World Police. I love the movie, Daka Daka Daka. People throwing up in their puppets. It was a great movie. I don't want to live it. I don't want to live it. Is there an issue with Islam rapidly expanding into Europe? Eventually it's going to make its way? Yes. But us attacking Iran is not going to solve that problem. It's not. And doing it on behalf of the Israelis who are also occupying Syria right now is not. We cannot keep fighting Israel's wars. There's going to be a direct conflict with Turkey too. So what are we going to do? Go fight for them as well? When are we going to say no? Hopefully it's now. Tim Pool just did a small segment on it. I want to bring it up. But again, This will be a complete reversal on America first, and this will be one of the only times that I will ever say Trump would lose my support. The number one appealing aspect about Trump, now I can't stand the demos and what they do with child mutilation and all the gay stuff. I wouldn't support that regardless. But I was so enthusiastic about supporting Trump because I was tired of watching the mental manipulation of the public trying to gear us into fighting a war that has nothing to do with us in the Ukraine. I see Israel doing the same thing. I don't want to see it happen here. That's one of the only deal breakers. No new wars, no taking us into wars that have nothing to do with us. The Iranians are asking us to stay out of it. I think we should. Hopefully Trump. But unfortunately, we're already sending military assets over there. It'd be a dream come true if our military assets were used to contain Israel and not to help defend them. I want Israel contained. Israel is out of control. We need them contained. And no, I didn't do this to exchange Volodymyr Zelensky with Benjamin Netanyahu. We did not come this far just to swap out one, puppet sitting on the shoulder of our president, whispering evil nothings in his ear to swap him out with another one. Little demon on his shoulder. That's not what we're doing this for. We're doing this to protect America, the American people, and our own American interests. We have enough stuff at home that we have to worry about. We do not need to be worried about what's going on in the Middle East. But let's hear what Tim Pool has to say.
And Iran, with both countries striking at each other, deaths in the dozen. Iran's taken way more casualties than more than Israel, though Israel, I believe the death toll may be around 24 and growing. It may be higher at this point. But Israel is now claiming complete air superiority over Iran as tensions escalate. But the news for the Americans is that the U.S. is deploying the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz, as well as, it appears, 30 air refueling tankers. People begin to speculate when they start tracking the flight paths of 30 refueling tankers, big aircraft used for refueling, I believe F-16s, U.S. and Western shorter range fighter jets. It appears these are not needed and not headed to a multinational training exercise. And the speculation across the board is that this is a deployment to the Middle East for the purpose of refueling U.S. aircraft as they begin airstrikes on Iran.
So another thing that could be happening, Iran struck strategic Israeli refueling centers where their jets, because it's a very long distance between Iran and Israel, they strategically struck depots and airports and refueling stations along the route. It seems that the U.S. maybe Israel's requesting help with refueling so that their fighter jets can make more trips to Iran. That's also another reason they could be bringing there. So they could be coming to do a logistical support, but we should be doing zero support. We don't even want to accidentally, you got to think about it. False flags are real. The USS Liberty, it was real. If Israel conducts a false flag and it seems like we got hit by Iran because we're in the wrong place at the wrong time, how does Trump back down from that without looking weak? He can't. So now someone's also dragging us into another conflict. We have to be smarter than that. Unfortunately, Trump needs time to think. And I think they understand that about Trump, that when too many things are piled on him and he can't think, he makes rash decisions in short periods of time, and it's usually the wrong decision. I really hope we're smarter than this and we stand down.
Speculation, of course, being Israel paved the way with strikes, taking out the air defense systems in Iran, which have always been a major blockage, we'll put it that way, for U.S. military strikes. The U.S. operates on air superiority, principally, and Iran has great military defense against airstrikes. Now that Israel's claimed superiority, the speculation is the U.S. will begin strikes of its own, and these refueling tankers will provide the fuel necessary for the return trip of these jets. Now, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but of course, the U.S. is already involved in the war, just not directly against Iran. The U.S. has deployed several defensive measures for Israel, to shoot down the rockets that are striking Israel or attempting to from Iran. So the United States is very much involved in this war. But the argument we often get from those that want us to be involved is that, no, guys, listen, this is not boots on the ground. This is military assets in the region. I don't play these games, my friends. The U.S. is involved or it isn't. Doesn't have to be our guys standing there with the weapon when it's our battleship firing missiles. When it's our weapons handed off to Israel, we are involved, and our adversaries will see it that way. That being said, I think Iran's screwed. I don't see a scenario where Iran's allies rush to its defense over these strikes. However, Pakistan is threatening to nuclear strike Israel if they use a nuclear weapon themselves. So it may be not that.
Yes, Pakistan did officially declare that if Israel uses a low-yield nuclear weapon against Iran, that they would strike Israel as well. Typically, a threat like that towards Israel would mean that Israel would have to go and attack Pakistan. They cannot. They are stretched too thin. The United States and Israel cannot take on the entire Middle East. If we bite off more than we can chew, and we lose an aircraft carrier and anything more than 20 to 50 U.S. military personnel, the entire country will turn on Trump. We have war fatigue. Afghanistan, Iraq, the Gulf War, Vietnam. We see the movies. We know what the protests look like. We know how many people died just protesting against Americans fighting. We've never once fought an enemy on our own borders. That tells me that every war we've ever fought was optional. We never faced an existential threat that was actually a direct threat to us. So what were we doing and why? Collectively as a society, we can't agree on much, but we can't agree on this. War is hell. And you better have a hell of a good reason for us to go into war. And we have not had a hell of a good reason. We haven't even gotten permission from Congress to go to war in 60 years. I think Trump's going to do the right thing. He's going to pull back at the last minute. I don't think he's going to authorize strikes in Iran. He's actually offering Putin to come in and help negotiate a peace between Iran and Israel. The problem is Israel, as long as they know they got the Americans by the balls and can influence the American military to do their dirty work, there's no reason for them to settle. See, right now in the Ukraine, Volodymyr is trying to figure out how to get back on our good side because he does want to, now they want to negotiate because they're done. They're losing to the Russians all out. However, we've already pulled out of that situation and we want nothing else to do with it. You can't blame us. Hopefully we can do the same sooner than later with Israel because the juice is not worth the squeeze when it comes to defending an enemy that literally struck first.
Any large adversarial nation such as Russia or China gets involved, but it may be that smaller nations do escalate conflict, and then we don't have World War III, we have a world at war, which is arguably the same thing. But the reason I draw the distinction is the world wars were large allied nations fighting over principally the same issue. World War II, Japan was doing its thing, but did have an alliance with Germany. I believe we'll end up seeing possibly pocket conflicts all over the world that escalate to the point of war and are very serious, but not necessarily a unification of the enemy powers, the adversarial nations, I should put it.
You know, one thing about these people in the Middle East, they're becoming less and less afraid of the United States. Their technology is advancing enough where they can now defend themselves. Yemen has been struck by the United States. The Yemenis are still there. They're still fighting. If they want to, they can go back to attacking any ships that pass in their territory in the Straits, even American military personnel and carriers. They have no problem shooting at us. if this expands and the fear over the Israelis being protected by the United States, if that fear dissipates, I don't know how much longer Israel is going to be able to just stand constantly fighting by itself. Already, many of its citizens are already fleeing from Israel to Europe. So who's going to still be there? The Zionists. Maybe the Ashkenazi Jews, but a lot of people are leaving. People think this might be the end of Iran, but Iran's a closed country. We don't really know what's going on in Iran. Have they not been expecting this to eventually happen for the last 30 years? Of course they have. I'm sure they've built infrastructure inside of mountains and underground that's impenetrable, that these strikes are not going to destroy or cripple their military. They will lose commanders. They will lose military leaders that are above ground on the surface. That's natural, and that is to be expected. But I don't think China and Russia are going to let Iran collapse, because then that's like moving a chess piece and you're putting both Russia and China in check. That means you're one move away from mate. And I don't think they can let Iran fall. They're not going to, and I know it seems bleak right now, and for content purposes, we're making these videos, but I'm hoping, and I'm pretty much gambling as a Trump supporter, that Trump will do the right thing and he will pull us back and he will not take us deeper into an unnecessary war in the Middle East. We've already pulled out of the Ukraine. We will also pull out of Israel as well. And, you know, Trump found out that Netanyahu had already, in Israel, been stabbing him in the back anyway. We have no love for these people. I think right now, just sending these carriers over there, this is lip service. We're not sending military personnel. We're sending logistics and refueling tankers. We shouldn't even be sending that. I mean, but that's almost damn near as good as nothing. We're not sending ships over there. We're not sending anyone over there to attack, because it would be a pointless war. We're not going to wipe Iran off the map. Not going to happen. And I don't think Trump wants to. Trump wanted to do a deal. Netanyahu ordering these attacks spit in the face of Trump. I don't think Trump's going to take too much more of this disrespect, but we will see. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. I'll keep you guys updated. We have another few more stories coming up in the next 30 minutes. So again, like and subscribe, come back, and I'll talk to you guys shortly. Thank you for tuning in. America first.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.